if we've got everyone, we can start recording, and there we go. So at this point, the 2 horses of the front cart have unfortunately been trampled and murdered by the trolls. So one horse is taken from the rear 2 carts, and a few of the dwarfs get out to try and push to assist the lone horse that's now on each of them, and the rest of the journey is going to be made at a little bit of a slower pace. But these dwarfs are pretty much made of pure muscle, so shove these carts along. Those that are injured are able to take a break every now and again, and although most of the dwarfs look like they're a bit hurt with a few arrows sticking out left, right and centre, they're still sturdy enough to push a cart back. As you go, the cart driver turns back to you. That was some great fighting. That was really something.
Well, I didn't do much, but hey.
Well, I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to points to Oled and Shauna. That was some great stuff you did there.
Why, thank you. You weren't too bad yourself. Does this kind of thing happen often?
No, that was worse than usual. We normally see a few goblins here and there. We fire the crossbows at them and they move away, but that was a bit worse than normal, I would say. And a narrow escape.
Who was that little guy that was telling the trolls what to do?
Points over to a body on the side. He seems to be wearing the armour that would be, one of the leaders. A little tribe leader, maybe, or a little, I don't know, equivalent of a captain. Greenskins aren't exactly that organised, but that's my guess. Maybe he rounded them up.
Yeah, but if he was here, wouldn't you think there'd be other leaders too?
Maybe.
We best be on our guard.
It tends to be smaller raiding parties around here. There's enough patrols that move through that it's normally not that dangerous. But yeah, we better get out of here. And that the carts begin to move, and you are slowly shoved up the mountain, those of you still on the cart or pushing a cart to make your way up. Now, the remainder of the journey takes another couple of hours. And for anyone that's pushing a cart, and there will need to be at least 2 people pushing the cart, I'd like you to make an endurance test to see if you suffer a point of exhaustion.
A lady like me would never push a cart.
We should roll encouragement. Shauna.
That's gonna be.
I am Drew.
Is there an actual thing like that?
I don't know. Can we roll
Sparing them
encouragement?
For encouragement. There's no leadership, is there? But no, you're fine. The 2 brothers are just competing against each other, just huffing and shoving, and absolutely fine. The adrenaline left over from the fight, clearly enough to see them through. Now, at this point, you've made your way for the majority of the way up the mountain, and you are greeted by a fairly small stone fortification. Walls some 20 feet tall, or I don't know, say 12 meters. Pretty big. And a very large stone door currently closed at the front, but up top on this fortification is a dwarf looking down at you. Who goes there? And the dwarfs shout back and forth, "It's me, Grax!" Opens the door up, and the cart is moved inside, and you are greeted by a few cheering dwarfs as the carts approach with a single troll. There wasn't enough horses to bring both back, but a single troll up on top. A few dwarfs rush on over and cheer, and a few of them tell tales of the single dowie that held back 2 trolls for a single turn. It was, a lot of merriment is had, and Elise seems to be slightly less shaken at this point, and thanks each and every one of you for your works, and perhaps we should have the afternoon of a little rest. I can do what I need. I can do my business tomorrow.
Do you require an escort then?
I tell you what, let's make our way to a tavern somewhere I can sleep. And yes, let's find a bed.
Very well.
Okay.
Should we gossip test or just use the map?
You can, well, from your memory, we'll move you on over. You're led down through a stone doorway which pushes open. It's a very unusual thing that you've probably never seen before, but a large, thick stone door that you can push open with your hand. It seems to be perfectly balanced with a few levers, and well, it's hard to tell how it works from the outside, but certainly an oddity to this place. And you are led down a large and long stairwell which sees you arrive down in the depths of Kazak Grom, arriving on the far left-hand side of the map, where a few Dowie greet you in and sign you in as well, taking a name and they write a brief written description what you look like, and go and simply allow you on through. Elise pays a small entry fee at this point for your visitation. Now, from the description given thus far, Elise is quite taken by the sounds of the miner's bounty, so she states that she's quite interested in just going to bed now and sleeping for the foreseeable future and having some food, and tomorrow we'll crack on with business. The only difficulty is it's quite hard to tell if it's day or night, as you're now subterranean, and any sense of daylight is, well, very hard to tell, aside from one very small crack in the top of the cavern. The majority of the lighting down here is all done by fire, and lamps, oils burning, oil lamps. Peculiar sight. But would you mind accompanying me, and once I am set up, assuming the tavern looks safe, I will let you do as you please.
Very well.
Thank you.
Bruder, let us go. And I'm assuming we just make our way towards the miner's bounty then?
Yeah. It's a small walk of only less than 100 metres. You pass a few buildings, all of which made of stone, with very sort of inclined roofs and very neat craftsmanship, almost like they're batch produced. Every building looking highly symmetrical, angular. There's not a lot of weird nooks and crannies on these. They look very well constructed. You pass through several what appear to be shops. Most of them have signs in a dialect you're not familiar with, but underneath you do recognise some of the letters, even those that can't read, as being Reichsspiel. They do seem to have catered for the travellers that come here with their signage. But after passing a few of these shops in particular, you make your way into a small tavern, which is currently full of about 15 dwarfs. A few of the other miners that have arrived with you also jump inside, and Elise heads to the bar before being pointed upstairs. You presume at this point she's asked for a room. Elise hands over a coin, turns back towards you. I will retire for the evening. There's security here, so don't worry. I will be fine. I am just going to eat and sleep, and preferably avoid any trolls or goblins for the rest of my life. Good night.
Good night, Alice.
Good night, Elise.
Gute Nacht, Elise.
It's probably only mid-afternoon right now. You can still see daylight up above you, but she seems to be visibly shaken, a bit like someone that's been in a car crash. So a few hours have passed, but the adrenaline's gone down, and she just looks like she's ready to crash. So makes her way upstairs.
Can I find a dwarf, or basically the bartender or anything? Just excuse me, Master Dwarf. But how do you keep track of time under these caverns? Yeah.
One of the dwarfs behind the bar, a small, stocky lady, but pleasant looking, with a nice smile about her. Let me just load up some tavern music for you. I think that would be slightly more appropriate.
I'm just waiting how you're gonna play her voice like.
Greetings, laddie.
Well, she doesn't look very small.
There we go. Hey, hello there, laddie. Nice to meet yous. Welcome to the tavern. What can I get yous?
I need a drink.
Yeah, I
Some of that
need.
troll we brought in.
Yeah, we were promised a troll stew.
Hey,
from the troll.
that'll be available later. Don't you worry. It's gonna be great. And rubs her hands together. It's a delicacy. Anyway, it's a little bit rude of me. Let me introduce myself, rather, right after I found my name. My name's Ballerica. My name
What's
is
her name, Monique?
Ballerica. Tell you what, laddie. Let me just write that down there for you in that piece of paper. This is my tavern, the Miner's Bounty. It's, as you can tell, one of the finest establishments of the whole Kazakh. I'm proud of it. If you'd like some ale, I'll sort you out.
Mm-hmm.
I'd want some ale.
Great.
I'll pass. Thank you, though.
I'm afraid there's no water here, little man. The water's been tainted recently. So, we've got to brew.
How do you clean?
Well, we ferment it. Seems to do the trick. Anyone that seems to drink from the wells is getting a little bit on the sickly side, but anybody having my ale is absolutely fine, provided you can still walk. Gives you a little elbow.
Forgive me for asking this seemingly random question, but have the Root Brothers been buying some lands around here?
Not around these parts, no. Not that I'm aware of. I know down back towards Molenfort there were problems with the lands.
Yes.
I might know a thing or two about that, but you see, my second trade is in that of secrets, and it'll cost you a coin.
How much would that coin be?
A silver for a secret. That's my business.
I sneakily pass her a silver.
Aye. The waters from here go down to Molenfort, so whatever be tainting the waters up here is likely causing the issues down there.
From what I've seen, the rats were the ones that were causing the spread of the disease down there.
I don't know anything about the disease in the town. I'm only talking to you about the affliction of the crops are in the surrounding areas. I don't think you could blame that on the rats.
Aye.
Yeah, that sounds really strange. Why would that be? Why would the crops be tainted?
Yeah, Beth, how long has this been going on?
Anything that drinks, be it animals from the waters down there, is also falling ill, so I think it's fairly safe to say that the waters coming from this mountain seem to be troubled.
And when did this happen? When did this start happening?
Oh, it's been a few months now, but it's been slowly getting worse. Aye, unfortunately we haven't got to the bottom of it. It's the problem seems to be somewhere down in the ruins, and well, we've sent a few adventurers down, but nobody's got to the bottom of it yet.
Well, thank you for your information.
No problem. Anyone that's having a drink can make a consume alcohol test with -20, because this is strong. This is Dwarven Ale. And this is very nice tasting. Wow, Grim has taken a liking to this. Shorter, a little bit drunk. Okay. And Oleg, are you drinking?
Oleg is passing.
Okay. When you eat or drink each day, as there is currently nothing non-alcoholic on offer, each day there will be one consume alcohol test, just because there's not a lot of alternatives, unless you're able to procure something different. But for now, you are fine because you are well stocked and fed and watered, and you would have had some supplies to move along with, which would have included some degree of travelling fluids. Right?
Do they have livestock that we could see?
Not in your immediate vicinity, but who knows?
Perhaps some milk?
There's not a lot of it to go around, laddie. I don't have any here, but if you have a little snoop around the merchants, you might find someone with a goat.
Thank you.
No problem. So, anything else I can help you with?
Perhaps maybe the rumors. We were told that there was areas open to searching.
Aye, you'd like to know about the ruins, would you? Well, I tell you what, go have a seat. I'll come join you in a more. And ushers you to a table at the corner of the room. The dwarfs in here right now are still enjoying a boisterous and jolly laugh with each other. Most of them are guzzling down pints pretty quickly. Very, very upbeat though. It seems to be quite a few mentions of some troll stew coming in later. A couple of minutes later, Ballarica arrives at the table with you. Right. If you want more info, you know the rules. Puts her hand on the table. Palm upwards.
Puts his hand on top of hers, gives it a pat.
Aye, that's very sweet, dear, but it's no coin.
Wait, how much coin?
1 silver, for
silver.
1 secret. Right.
Roe will pay it.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about the ruins. We opened them up a few years ago, and we've had quite a few travellers make it down. To begin with, a fair few used to make it back, but as of recent, a lot less. I'd say maybe 30% come back. There's an ogre and a slayer in town. They've been down a few times with a little bit of luck. Made it back with a few artifacts, items, a few jewels to their name as well. They're getting somewhat of a name in the area, but rumour has it that they've been telling us that there's things far worse than greenskins down there. They've told tales of giant rats that walk on their back legs. They've told us of demons as well. Trolls. Pretty much anything you can think of seems to be roaming around down there.
Intuition.
Certainly. Seems to be telling the truth. Genuinely curious and quite excited about all of the...
Not over-exaggerating any of the stories.
No, she seems to be really digging it, but not over-embellishing. Seems to be quite genuine. If you fancy going down, I'd recommend getting a few torches to you. Yeah, of course, there's no lights down there, so... Well, you can last as long as your light can, generally. I warn you, though, it's not exactly safe, so... Make sure you're, rested. There's a little payment to make as well. They charge a small amount of money for an entry fee as well. Indeed. It's an opportunity for a few coin for us. Helps move things along. There's also Grondella's offers a funeral service. If you don't arrive back after a week, she'll send a letter to whoever be your loved ones, wherever they be, and see to it that we do a service at the temple. It'll cost you 3 silver a person, but at least that way you can rest well with the gods.
Well, that's not morbid at all.
Nay. And with that, she goes back to bartending. Quite a few people are keen for a drink at this point. And she seems to have a little whisper with quite a few of them. It's... seems to be somewhat obsessed with secrets, perhaps. Very hot on gossip. Right?
Oleg gives Rogala a nudge. Like, huh?
It seems interesting. we could definitely invest in going down there and
I
kicking
would
some
rather
butt.
invest in the water problem, to be honest.
Yeah.
From what it sounds like, the water problem is part of going down there.
Indeed.
Perhaps we should sell some of the goods we brought first. Maybe the chainmail.
Oh yes,
Maybe.
let's we could do a bit of light shopping before we go. I
Yeah.
like that idea. At least go
We
talk to
can
the
rest
front
tonight
desk.
and go tomorrow.
I'd like to get some actual numbers for how many people have died.
Okay. Where do
See
you want?
whether or not I want to
Are you
be
gonna
scaredy or
ask
not.
her for it, or?
Ask her for what? No, we're gonna go shopping first.
Okay. Okay. Right. So the day is yours. You can do as you please. Stepping outside, you're on the merchant's quarter. So there's about 6 buildings up and down this street that seem to be an assortment of different sellers. There is a runesmith. There is a general goods store. One seems to sell food and groceries. Pretty much anything you can think of that one might require.
Okay.
Would I be
Go first.
able to get fine clothes from here if I have the cash for it?
For dwarves, maybe.
Yeah, that's the issue.
Sienna's really
Yeah.
tall.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're like huge.
You could
Although
inquire.
she could do a disguise where she's holding like a big mining sack over her shoulders that she hides her legs in.
So she's like a troll dwarf.
Yeah.
You could certainly ask. There is a tailor on this street.
Mm.
A hanging banner outside with a picture of a thread and needle. Kind of hard to miss. Even though the name's not particularly familiar to you.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go in there,
Okay.
ask about it.
You may inquire. At current, it seems that the tailoring within here for clothing, at least, and let's say for fashionable purposes, is primarily geared towards dwarfs. However, you do meet inside a very elderly dwarf lady who would be willing to craft you something, but it would probably take several days. But would be willing to. And looking around this tailor in particular, it does look particularly nice. Definitely a dwarven theme with a few of the what you assume might be dwarven characters etched in, and sort of there's definitely a different style going on here, but nice looking.
So I would assume that they would understand if something is very finely made, correct?
This would
They
be
would, they would be able to perceive that something is finely made. So I
Oh, yes.
show them the scarf that we got from that hole in the wall where the giant monster thing came out. To see how, if it's finely made, if it's just dirt cheap. Do they know the who it belongs to, perhaps, because the initials of the person are there?
Okay. She has a look at it and agrees with your assertment that it is finely made and a nobleman's scarf without any question. She doesn't know who it belongs to, as it's a Reichland scarf, so it's beyond her. She points to the initials that are on it, but can't really help you out with that one. And was your aim to sell it to her, did you say, or?
Can you remind me again what the initials were?
SF.
SF.
SF?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
I think it was the other way around, FS.
Maybe. I have it written down.
FS. Apologies if I ever put SF.
I've put it as a SF, so I'll change
Okay.
it.
That's all good.
Okay. So, well, if she wants to get something made here, we'd have to stay for a few days.
No, I was just curious about it. I don't have to get it here. I can get it when we get back home.
Oh, okay. All right. Anything else that you guys wanted to do? Sell that chainmail that we found?
Okay.
Be worth at least scrap money.
Exactly, right? Sell that or wear it. I don't care.
Okay.
You could probably wear it over that leather of yours I liked.
You have been pointed to Grondella's supply shop, which was where you were told most of the armour of the area was sold, as well as weaponry and things of that nature. And, yeah, that's where you can go. It's just in between two buildings, but there is a large hanging board outside with a picture of a shield and a crossed hammer with it. 2 crossed hammers, rather.
There's a. I'll have to go eat now.
No problem. No problem.
So carry.
Yeah, we'll be shopping by the sounds of it, so I'll see you in a bit.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
so
that's the goal.
step inside Grondella's supply shop, and you are greeted by a slightly younger dwarf with a beard perhaps some only 9 inches long. And... boop. Bring that back.
That's a big ass dwarf.
That's a...
You
Yeah.
are a beautiful man, dwarf.
Hey, Gorgon's my name. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Gorgon.
What can I get you?
What do you got?
You name it. Finest quality items in the whole of the Kazak. And points over to armours to one side, most of which seem to be of a dwarven size, but there are definitely some that are catered to humans, and an array of weapons on the other. All finely made by myself in the smithy. You'll find them to be of exceptional quality.
Do you perhaps buy used goods?
Depends on the product. Let's have a look.
I guess I'll speak for Grimwald as well with this.
Yep.
But it's the chainmail and the chain coat and the chain leggings. I can't remember.
Now, taking a quick look at them, because I seem to remember each one did have a flaw.
Each one had a flaw and a quality to it.
The
One of them
dwarf takes a
had
very
the
quick look, but
coat,
reels
I
back.
believe, had the worth twice as much quality.
Yeah. Basically, anything with a flaw, this dwarf won't touch with a barge pole. I've got a reputation to uphold, laddie. I can't be selling stuff like that. Look at it. I only sell amazing stuff. Look at this.
I was thinking more you could melt it down and then turn it into something better.
Scrap
Maybe a
value.
dagger? Yeah.
I guess that's depends on the quality. It starts eyeing up the quality of the metal to at least see if there's some scrappage value. I guess I could give you something for it. I'll tell you what. Scrap value, I'll give you... He offers you a quarter of the full cost.
I step in here and try and haggle.
You may try.
Okay.
Well, if you see here at this location, it's finely crafted. Do you see the jointing here?
Yeah.
No corrosion whatsoever.
God damn it.
It's actually even worse because you're drunk.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's even worse. It'll take a while to wear off, but... Look here, laddie. I'm a dowie. I make weapons. Fine weapons. They're all exceptionally fine. I don't sell stuff like this. And the metal as well, it's not worth a lot, so look, that's my scrap value offer. Take it or leave it. By all means, if you want to try and find someone else to buy, there might be someone around. You can always try the golden mug. They don't mind selling
Garbage.
stuff like this. And sort of scruffles his nose in the direction of the armour. Now, if you'd like to buy something fine, take a look around.
I would like to buy, because I can't seem to get the store thing to work because my token isn't here. How much will it cost for leather sleeves?
Leather sleeves, eh? Well, this guy being a blacksmith doesn't have any. You'd have to pop back to the tailors, but
Yeah, sorry.
that's fine. That's fine. You'd be able to buy some from there for the generic cost. What I'll do is I'll just stick in. Shauna has magically appeared.
It is I!
And we'll stick down with the armour, and there you go. So you can get yourself. Do you just need sleeves?
Yeah. I
Or
have
do
a jerkin.
Oh, you have a jerkin. Okay, you can ask the tailor to do so. if you quickly run back there, you can do so for 4 silver. She'll attach some sleeves on. It's fairly cheap, but it will take the day to do it, so you'll have to come back later to get it.
Okay.
Right.
2, 3.
So for the purposes of the sale, if you want to make it, we can always deal with the coinage at the end of the session.
Okay, that's fine.
Or between, if it's easier.
I'll
for
just
the
take it
chainmail.
back.
Yep, sure. Right. Now, what are you guys up to? Shauna now represents the party, FYI.
Yeah, exactly,
Well-
right? The face.
Shauna needs to go and get some water, and she'll be right back.
Honestly, Brogel really doesn't have a whole lot to do here. There is, he doesn't have a whole lot in common with the dwarves in any way, shape, or form.
We will be visiting the Golden Mug because this dwarf doesn't want to buy our scrap metal.
Okay.
He will buy it, but at quarter price, which is less than you would sell it as selling it as armor, basically.
So we'll just sell it to the Golden Mug then. Did you want to buy anything here? Anything, Dowie made? Maybe a better boat hook?
This boat hook, it was my mother's.
Okay, so nothing will be better than that. Sentimental.
I'm wondering, does Grondella's have any ranged weaponry lined up?
There are crossbows on offer. There is a couple of bows. No black powder weapons, however. There's a short bow and a pop here. Short bow and a couple of standard bows on offer, and both of which are finely made, although the fine quality is random.
Random, huh?
So basically, you can tell me if you want to buy a bow. I will roll to see what the fine quality is, and you can do a test to see if you can tell what it is. But it does mean the stuff here is quite expensive. It's basically all double price, because it all has one good quality to it.
Wow, this stuff all looks amazing.
Is proud of the best quality. But I am.
Are you sure you don't want to just put that boat hook in your back pocket and get yourself like a nice short sword or something like that?
No.
You sure?
It will be. I cannot afford. I must save my coin to buy Gran a souvenir.
That's right. You're sentimental.
Okay.
Anyway, so over to the Golden Mug.
Golden Mug. All right. Stepping inside the Golden Mug, this seems to be a slightly large, more open tavern with numerous tables set up with, it's almost like a dwarven casino, I guess, but without all of the glitz and glamour. There's a few different sort of gambling games going on, some playing cards, a bar over to your side, and straight ahead you can see that there is a sign, Rogel, you can read this at least, that points to there being rooms to rent. Over on your left is a wall that says the Dead Pool and has a bunch of names on it with lines through, as well as various tallies, and looks like it's keeping track of something.
Ooh, I'm going to ask about that. What's
I'm
this
back.
Deadpool?
Okay. Welcome back. So, at this point, going to the barkeep. Hey, hello there. Deadpool, we take bets on who goes down into the ruins, and take bets on who's going to come back. Give them a name, put a coin on it, and maybe win a little bit of coin. If they don't come back after a week, you're a winner.
That sounds fun.
Now you can see at this point, looking at there is a list of names like the Mighty Six, the Short Three, a bunch of fairly descriptive terms, sort of the Reichland 4, describing a bunch of groups, and the majority of which have lines crossed through, but a few don't.
Which names don't?
Hey, well, they would be the ones that come back. Let's have a look over on my list over there. He goes to walk on over to have a look. Morgrim is probably one of the better known ones, a slayer by trade, I guess you could know. But he's been helping us to clear out the levels somewhat with an ogre of his. The two of them are an unlikely pair, but, well, they've been doing a good job of surviving down there. Other than that, there was a group from Kislev about 2 months ago that made it back. And as you can tell, it's only sort of like one group every month that makes it back from the ruins. It's not a huge amount, but not that many go down. Probably 20% make it back.
Yikes. Okay.
You make the money from betting on someone who does come back, or if they die?
Either or. Generally, we put the bets on if they're going to come back. But, if you're betting on a slayer, then it's not exactly fun, so sometimes we switch it around.
And, we were told you buy used goods here.
At this point, his eyes squint a little bit. He's going to do an insight check. Aye, I do. You look trustworthy. What are you looking to buy?
We're looking to sell, actually.
Ah. What are you looking to sell?
Oleg shows off the fairly crappy-looking chain, armor pieces, coat,
Okay.
and pants.
At this point,
It's not crappy looking. It looks finely made, but it has a flaw.
Well, one of them has gaps, but what was it? I think it was durable, but it has gaps, and then the coat it breaks easily, but it looks great.
Yep. What we'll do is he pulls up someone to the bar at come with me. And he leads you into a back room and it pushes open a sort of a standard door size stone door, and stepping through you can see sort of piles and crates of various things. You could say this is my little warehouse back here. All right, what have you got? And he eyes up the items, and let's have an opposed haggle test to see.
Yep.
He didn't roll very good.
Go, Shada, go! Go, Shada, go!
How?
Well, you still beat him. Because he rolled terribly. Aye.
Just for shits and giggles. Yeah.
All right, I'll give you some coin for this, but it's not exactly the best quality.
As long as you pay more than Grundleman and his scrapping.
Aye. There's probably someone going down there that could do with it. What we'll do is we'll sort the coinage out after the session rather than doing all the maths now, because we'll be doing lots of multiplications given the qualities.
In fact,
Perhaps you could turn these into supplies for us going delving?
Hey, you need some equipment, do you? I've got torches. I've got rope. Yeah, I can
Food
do.
and water.
You need food. What is a rare commodity up here? I do have some, but it'll cost you.
How much?
A silver for a wine bottle's worth, which is a fairly steep asking price, but it comes in on the occasional cart, and, well, it might as well be as valuable as wine these days.
I do not have silver out of the exchange. A gold out for it, but yeah.
Okay. We'll just say you spent one and we'll deal with the money later. If you would like a bottle of water, that would basically last you a day, so you wouldn't have to do a consume alcohol check.
did Elise ever mention how long she was going to be here?
She felt it might be a while, but she really didn't know. So you probably won't know until tomorrow.
Okay.
as she's not begun her business yet. Okay.
Would you say the encumbrance on these is negligible, or how much?
Yeah, you can put them in your bag and it will be... I'd say
Okay.
3 of them would probably end up being 1 encumbrance, but no, for 1 bottle, no.
All right, then I would actually buy 3 then.
Okay. 3 bottles of water.
We're trying to convert the armor into supplies instead of just outright selling it.
Oh, you're trying to swap or exchange?
Yeah, a little bit of bartering instead.
Okay, yeah, that would be an option. So he'd be willing to give you probably the water, some rope, some, say, 4 torches, and maybe a couple of little climbing picks as well.
Sweet.
Also, Shauna would also want to buy some water.
Okay.
Well, we're getting water from...
Well, he only has 5 bottles in total.
I'll buy 1.
Okay. So that'll be another silver gone. But again, we can deal with all the money after the
Okay.
session if need be. It just saves on the old editing. So, thank you for your custom. I tell you what, if you ever need anything a little more spacey, you let me know.
I was told there was a gambling place around here.
This is it?
I have just walked through it. You probably missed this, Shauna, but in this tavern in particular is set up a bit more like a casino, but without all of the glitzy lights and music. It's numerous different gambling tables, bets being placed, and a few games that look like they might resemble dominoes.
I'll go at the gambling table that uses cards instead of dice
Okay.
and see what happens.
Okay. You can roll me a gamble test if you want to have a quick play.
Gamble war, sleight of hand,
Depends if you want to do sleight of hand.
of course.
Okay. We'll do that opposed by an awareness test.
Where's sleight of hand? Let me just find it. There it is.
That's a good awareness test, dude.
It's not bad.
That's a better.
That's better,
sleight of hand.
unfortunately,
That is
so
far better.
I don't get to kick you out of here. So now we do a gamble test and you get plus 30.
Okay.
And no, I rolled terribly, so you
so
can
plus 30.
you can basically, I'm pretty sure, yeah, you'll get your silver back. Your bottle of water was effectively free. Right, the day is yours. You may do as you please. As you go to leave, the gentleman does say, if you find yourself coming into a lot of money, you let me know. I've got...
Well, before we go, do we want to give ourselves a name and go try delving into the dungeons and let them bet on us? Maybe we can bet on ourselves. Are we allowed to bet on ourselves?
I mean, sure.
Technically nothing against it. You can certainly do that. There's a few criteria. I mean, I think I'll have to think about that and come up with some rules, actually. We've never had this situation before.
Okay.
Come.
We shouldn't be delving today, at least until we understand Elise's schedule. Tomorrow.
Yeah, but Elise is asleep until tomorrow.
I mean,
If
we
never
could
make it back in time.
Oh, it's true.
well, maybe we could just explore the very entrances.
When did you come back?
But I have always been here.
Been over your shoulder this whole time, haven't you noticed?
No.
I would suggest going in for only the basic levels. Just a little bit of delving, yeah. And we don't want to take too long and worry Elise, yeah?
Yeah.
I might get critically hit by then, who knows?
True.
Hearing you conversing about this before you're going to leave, he nudges you to one side because he did an insight check, so he feels that you're trustworthy. Look, if you find anything that you think they're likely to confiscate, if you can get it past them, I'll buy it from you. But I'm warning you, if you double-cross me, you'll die in your sleep.
I anxiously look at the water and just doubt.
Aye, and if you double-cross them and they find you, you'll die on the spot. Just be aware.
Do they do butt checks?
Did you ask him that?
Yeah.
He just squints at you and looks insulted.
But I am simply asking for a way to, just hide the goods.
Dwarven artifacts aren't suppositories.
Gives you a
How do you know that?
Forgive me, kind sir.
Gromwell enema.
For he is a
There you
bit
go.
hard.
He gives you a small container the size of like a large goose egg.
I want to know what the going rate is.
For what?
Like, what's the compensation for actually dealing with the risk of bringing stuff to him? What's his offer?
Depends what you find, laddie. If you find yourself something Grummel, it's priceless. If you find yourself something a little bit rarer, old book, rumour has it down in the deeper levels, there's grimoires and all sorts of oddities, but
Alright, now we're going.
many don't make it back from there. It depends on what you find. It could be anything from a gold crown to plenty more.
Why would my brooder be down there? My brooder Greenwald is right here.
There are many
Don't
more
mind
like
these
him, I
two.
guess.
I won't.
They're dumb where they come from, too.
Okay. Now, if you don't excuse me, I better get back to the bar.
Yes, you
Remember,
go. Bye.
touches his rather big nose. Remember, keep it quiet.
I flash him the sign of Ranald, and as always.
Aye.
Your secret's safe with me.
Okay. Right.
All right, let's sneaky do that out of this this weird establishment.
So you're heading on out. You are back on the streets.
Do we have any sense of what time it is? That little sunspot on the ceiling.
It's getting a bit dark. It's getting a little later in the day. There is still a little bit of light, like you'd guess late evening.
Now, are we supposed to meet Elise where she was staying, or are we supposed to find our own accommodations?
Yeah, come morning, you're expected to be there.
Okay, so we're finding our own accommodations for the evening. Got it.
Yeah.
She already found accommodations for the evening, didn't she?
She
Went
found
to the
it for
tavern
her,
and-
yeah, and paid for a room for her, but
Yeah.
you can
Yeah,
do as you
but-
please.
Well, we can go to the Crystal Palace. There's one up now.
Where all the other humies are.
Yeah. Oh, we can go dungeon delving instead, like real adventurers. Yeah, wouldn't you agree?
What is sleep? Sleep is not necessary.
What about feeling tired? Fuck that.
It'll already be dark.
We did pass
I
those
mean, if-
endurance checks.
You did pass those endurance checks.
Yeah, I did.
But would we miss the troll stew if we?
Oh, yeah, the trolls too. Hoo-hoo.
We should go back for some of the troll stew now that it's evening.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we can get a room to rent there as well and take our troll stew with us to the room.
And maybe do some gossip checks.
Yeah, and dip our feet,
Yes.
dip our
Okay.
feet in trolls too.
Okay.
Gossip, gossip.
Okay. As you walk back, let's have a perception test from each of you.
Perception?
Yeah, just to see what you spy of the surrounding areas, if there's anything interesting going on.
Anything?
Apparently.
Nice.
Shana is too drunk to see.
Why are the brothers always better at everything?
They're just on it. They're on it. So it's not a long walk back, but on your left as you pass is the Crystal Palace and Grimwald. You notice in particular a few sort of drunkards coming out from inside. Inside, peeping through the door just as you pass, you see a few, let's say, scantily clad entertainers that are doing something, some form of dance, one would say. And a few of the individuals coming out seem to be quite well dressed, though. Not necessarily low lives. There's a degree of class. Bouncer on the door. Opposite are a few dwarfs that are sort of currently sat outside what looks like it might be a home, sort of scouring at the establishment. Moving forward, the Merchant's Quarter is getting a little quieter, but as you approach that, on your left is the Miners' Guild, and you can see a few carts being moved in and out of one of the mines on the left. On the right, there are currently some boards that are covering the mine shaft. It seems that this one is currently closed. And the Merchant's Quarter, the Miner's Bounty, is just a few more yards up ahead on the left. As you bibbidi bobbidi boo.
Bibbidi bobbidi boo.
Right. You find yourself back at the Miner's Bounty, and inside, Balalalinka instructs you that the feast this evening will be within the Great Hall to celebrate the slaying of trolls and to share out what they can. They estimate there'll probably be 100 people, so there won't be a huge amount of troll stew to go around, but certainly for any of the survivors from this morning's trip, it would be afforded to.
Sweet. I take my stew and request to purchase a room.
Same.
Okay. Well, the stew will probably be the banquet will likely be in another hour or so, but for now you can make a payment for a room if you like.
Yes, and settle in.
It costs 1 silver a day.
Okay.
All right.
That's per head.
Sleeping in common room overnight.
Yeah, that would be the cheapest, and that would all be sharing one room.
Oh.
It's
all share
not
one
that
room,
cheap.
Then. Shauna,
but
you have silver. Pay up.
Yeah.
We'll sort all the money after, or you throw it out now if you like. No, actually,
No.
Shauna has all the silver.
Shauna, do you want to go in do you want to go down into the mine shafts?
No.
No. Okay.
So you are pointed to the Great Hall, which is where this banquet is occurring. It's going to be in roughly about an hour's time. You're not far away from the entrance to the ruins at this point, and you can see over in the distance, just beside it, sat beside a campfire, and it's quite hard to miss these two individuals, are a small red-headed dwarf, a fiery red, similar to Shauna's, slightly shorter though, and slightly more stocky, sat beside what you could only describe as a ginormous hulk of a man, or maybe an ogre or an ogren. It's currently sat around a fireplace, eating what looks like to be the leg of an entire cow.
Well, Rogel was looking at his hands apparently, so he didn't see any of this.
Nope. Fair enough.
Yeah. You suppose that the two that they spoke about, they mentioned an ogre, and I've seen the Steve Doors have ogres before. Perhaps that is them?
Who are you talking about?
The Slayer, an ogre.
Oh, what? Where? Oh, over there. Maybe that's who they were talking about. Those two adventurers who had gone down into the mine shafts and came back, and they had bet on him. Well,
Her.
they don't bet on the Slayer apparently.
Well, they do when it's opposite day.
What? What?
Yeah, they mix it
sometimes
up
they
every now and
stop.
again.
I said let's go talk to them. Gossip. Gossip girl.
Okay.
Gossip girl.
Approaching them as well, you do also see a large cylindrical building in the middle, in front of a ginormous hall, being the temple, which currently has a few people walking in and out of, or primarily dwarfs. As you approach the two sat down by fireside at the moment, you get a small nod of acknowledgement from the dwarf, but the ogren is currently just chomping on what looks like it was probably half a cow, pretty much raising up an entire leg to his to his face, each time
Hey,
tearing
guys.
off a large chunk.
He's so hungry you could eat a horse.
Ah!
Ha! 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 He's scary.
It looks down towards you and just goes, "Cow."
Oh, sorry, a cow. I'm mistaken.
He grunts and goes back to eating. And the dwarf doesn't seem particularly talkative.
Excuse us. We are new here in the hole. Crack. What do they call these?
Kind of asking the rest of the group.
What?
It's Kazak Grom.
Kazak Grom,
Yeah,
yes.
Kazak, yeah. And we were thinking of going delving, and you two seem to be the talk of the Kazakh.
Upon hearing that you're thinking of going down, the dwarf then smiles and looks toward you. Good luck. And goes back to eating.
What's your secret? How did you survive?
Upon hearing you say that, he points to his bicep, flexes a little bit.
I, in return, flex mine.
Shona via the flex, but okay.
Make a charm test to see if you can be remotely sort of see if you can tickle his humour.
How kawaii are you? Roll me a kawaii test.
Aw, I'm gonna re-roll.
Okay, it's worth
I
a
want to be
reroll.
kawaii.
Reroll. It is.
We roll.
Got to reroll.
Reroll.
Hey, re-roll successful.
Okay. Oh my god. He smiles at you as you flex your bicep, and it looks back down to the floor. But you can see he's like trying to keep a smile, sort of buried down beneath his ginger beard. But come have a seat, and points to sort of a bench beside it. It looks like a stone bench. Currently, he sat on one himself, and the Ogren is just sort of perched on the floor, but still taller than the rest of you while sat down.
Perfect. Zoom in on that smile.
It's a good smile, actually. It's a good smile.
Best smile.
There you go.
Smile.
There you go. Right.
There
So-
you go.
As you were.
Rogel's laughing too hard at this. I'm sorry. Goofy girl, man. This is great. All right. To try and get things together, what have you guys seen down there? We heard rumors that there's more than just greenskins.
Yeah.
He looks at you. Trolls. Rats.
Rats.
Spiders.
Yeah, we heard that these rats can walk.
Aye. They can.
What rats can walk?
Every rat.
These ones
Like
can.
on its back legs. Like, I mean,
Aye.
what rats can do that?
These
Circus
ones can.
rat?
Most don't believe it down in the Reichland, but us Dowie, we see things that you may not on a normal day.
Is them walking on two legs something new, or has it been always like that?
They've been around as long as we have.
Is it the front legs or the back legs that they walk on?
He doesn't answer that.
Oh, like what the
So-
freak's at.
Are they as easy to kill as normal rats?
Make a charm test, Oled, to see if your joke can tickle him.
He wasn't joking though.
Okay. Well, make a charm test anyway. To see, because he will think it is a joke. Okay.
Nice.
He laughs at how straight-faced you were while saying that, and smiles a bit more. Not usually. Normally the back.
Oh.
So they can't walk in front, though.
Hmm.
Just imagining it's in my head, and I imagine a circus.
You don't exactly strike me as warriors. No disrespect.
Can they hold weapons?
I mean, you guys try to hold weapons. Let's just be honest.
Well, you should know that on our way here we have slay a couple trolls and a bunch of goblins.
Gives you the
Goblins.
eyeball at this point, and aye, I heard about you. Good job. I'm not exactly sure how you did it, but maybe there's a bit of dwarf in you.
And it's more.
Well, not in me, definitely, considering I'm like 6 foot.
Aye,
Right.
that's probably true. So,
These
they're
rats.
they're just eating in between you guys, sort of sat there awkwardly. They're just sort of chomping down on food during these awkward silences, and more than
I
happy.
love it.
Do we hear the ASMR sounds of them?
Definitely, the
Or-
Ogren hasn't closed his lips once. It's it's pretty grotesque. Some bits are falling out, but some of it stays in.
Slopping on the ground.
Yeah, it's
With a nice splat.
yeah. He picks it up and puts it straight back in. There's
3-second rule doesn't matter to him.
no, not at all.
Warhammer, it's 1 minute rule.
For him,
Gameplay.
dirt is just seasoning.
I mean, technically.
I mean,
So awkward watching these guys eat. Guys, come on, say something.
So
Aye.
if we wish to investigate the water issues, is that somewhere close to the surface? Because we came here on business as guards, and we must still be here for tomorrow morning.
It'll take you a few hours to fumble your way down there, I expect. It's lower down than the safer levels. Hand me that. Hand me some paper. And requests a bit of paper.
The
I
back
have
of the
some.
map count?
Okay.
No, I have
Yeah.
some. I actually have a writing kit with paper and pen and stuff, so I can
Okay.
actually assist him in drawing this whatever map it is.
Yeah, he does a very quick sketch for you of sort of some arrows and crosses as to. By the time he's drawn it, it looks like a spider's web. It is not particularly easy to navigate, but he puts a few pointers on as to things to keep an eye out for, places you probably don't want to go, somewhere where they saw some trolls. So you've got a little bit of an indicator, but it looks like it's going to be a very a fairly long journey to make your way down to basically the spring of this mountain.
I asked him specifically if we can put north on this.
Aye. And etches it on for you so you can orientate yourself.
Thank you very much.
I asked him if he knows anything about reopening some sort of controversial mine shaft. Does he know anything about it?
Sorry. I'm not exactly interested in rocks. You can
But
ask.
you are interested in exploring them.
He's interested in killing monsters, it seems,
Aye.
and eating cows.
I'm here to reclaim my homeland. That's,
It's very noble of you.
he looks down at that point and, aye. So awkward.
So awkward. You're right. So, why are you trying to reclaim your homeland? I guess I'll ask. I don't know.
It's a slayer's
Taking
duty.
your homeland.
Slayer's duty, once he's taken his oath, is to try and reclaim his honour. Die gloriously if need be, but I'm trying to do what I can to help out where my ancestry came from. My family
Your
has
friend-
always been here. My clan has always been here, and since taking the oath, I do what I can of the more dangerous tasks.
You're an unlikely player here with your friend. How did you end up, becoming partners in slaying?
He was the only one to make it back from one of the other groups. I was going down alone, and he just followed me one day.
Intuition?
The Ogren at this point just sort of smiles.
Can I...
Yeah, you make an intuition.
roll
See if
intuition?
you see what you think.
Yeah.
Rogel's just gonna assume that the Ogren recognized power and followed power,
Yep. Right.
as beasts tend to do.
Now, if you don't excuse us, feasts aren't exactly our speciality. We'll be making a move. And with
Okay.
that, the two of them,
Well, actually, would you two? Are you two gonna be heading back down there?
they're heading down there right now.
Oh, they're heading down there right now.
Yeah, they're going down for a
We
few
got behind.
hours.
Would you like some company?
Well, we're gonna miss the feast then.
Is it really that important?
Probably not.
He doesn't seem very keen on liking company.
Aw,
You've made him feel
okay.
awkward enough.
We did.
Okay.
Best of Luke down there.
Best of Luke.
Best of Luke.
Best of Leia.
Oh my god. Okay, to the feast.
Right, the two of them, you see them hand a small bit of paper to two dwarfs with long grey beards that are stood on the outside of this entrance. Each of them seem to be sporting a large two-handed axe as well as a brace of pistols on their front. The door is open for them, and although it's a bit of a tight squeeze, the Ogren sort of shuffles in side by side and, or sideways, and makes his way into wherever this leads. You can, at this point, turning around, see that there are people...
Hold on.
Oh.
Matt,
Yep, it's my voice gone
You went-
funky.
it went
My voice is...
silent
Yeah, so...
for
cool.
like half
Everything
that
went
thing.
silent.
No worries. So we'll
As soon as we
start that
heard
bit
about
again.
braces of pistols.
No worries. So the
Yeah.
two individuals head toward a large double door, which is currently being guarded by two dwarfs with long grey beards that are down to the floor, each of them holding by the hilt a double-headed two-handed axe and a very visible brace of pistols attached to their front. Handing over a piece of paper, they walk through these doors. You see the Ogren turn sideways to try and sort of scoot down and shuffle on in through this passageway, which, even being a double door, is a little bit on the tight side for him. And the door is sealed behind them.
Well, time to feast.
Bye, guys.
Okay.
It's nice knowing you.
By this time, and during this rather awkward exchange of words, there has been quite a few individuals heading into the Great Hall. And of this, stepping to the front, there are similar two dwarfs at the front of this building. Same sort of beards as those at the edge of the ruins, longer grey-looking beards, and more aged and weathered-looking. Two-handed axe again, no pistols on these, and they seem to be ushering people in, and mainly just standing, looking stoic with the occasional nod and grunt as people approach. There seems to be, looking inside, a small crowd currently stood around many tables. Do you go inside?
We go inside.
Okay. As you step inside, you can hear a cheer from your side, and it does appear to be your coach driver from before. Ah, hello there, Ungies. Come, sit at the table with us. Let's have a drink.
Sure.
Aye.
Sure.
Today is
I'll
a
drink
glorious day. And with that, he starts to do a little theatrical performance telling the other dwarfs about how the goblins were slayed. This is how good his performance is. Fairly good. He manages to get the attention of about 10 to 15 other dwarfs and share the tale as to what happened. Isn't that right? Didn't you? How big was the troll? And
It was like it's 3 times Sienna's size.
Aye. That's right. That's right. And drinks are offered. And inside this long hallway, there are a few stairs up at the edge that seem to go up sort of into passages or extra rooms, but this is largely one central dining chamber. A bit like a Norse drinking hall. Lots and lots of tables, lots and lots of chairs, and many dwarfs currently chugging down drink right now with the smell of something sweet in the air.
Do we also chug drinks?
You can indeed. You can make another consume alcohol test if you like.
Yeah, boy.
Drink the beer.
Get a save on water.
Consume alcohol.
I crit myself in the face.
Nice.
Jeez.
Yay! Oh!
Nice. Rogel is wasted.
Are these supposed to have negative 20?
Yeah, apologies, I didn't say, but it's fine.
Still
So
winning.
Shauna's a little bit more drunk. And this is strong stuff. Oof. Okay. So, yeah, that's another step of drunkenness.
That's what you get for tattletaling.
When you get to 3, extra things happen, but with only 1 stack of drunkenness, you're still alive, just barely holding on. There's basically a lot of just banter and conversation going on at the moment. A few of them are sort of chanting sort of songs and chants from the sides of the room. Others are telling stories and tales of adventure. A few of gossiping. There seems to be a very good atmosphere going on right now. You're currently on a table sort of slightly off to the left, but not tucked outside too much, and you get the occasional dwarf come up as well, tap you on the back, and thank you for your help with today's ambush.
How big are the chairs? Are we all scrunched up like we're at a children's table?
They're benches, but yes, your knees are raised up a little bit, so it's a little awkward, but there's enough space to, like, it's not too awkward.
Okay.
Right. And some 10-15 minutes pass before a stew is pulled out, and it smells good. It smells good. A large cauldron is wheeled out from a sort of a back door into the middle of the room. The entire room at this point cheers, and a glass is raised by all. And everyone takes a bowl from the table and forms a line. There's about
Are we first in
Forms
line?
a line.
there are a few that are being rushed forwards, and your current escort is keen to get you served before it runs out, so does move you along with a few of the miners, especially the miner in particular that fended off 2 trolls for an entire turn. And yes, you are treated to a bowl of bubbling broth that has a sort of a fairly thick, soupy quality to it, and sort of it's like a greyish colour. It doesn't look all that amazing, but smells fine.
I mean, we're all pretty drunk, so
Yeah, it looks
it
amazing.
looks amazing.
It looks great. Yeah, it's greasy. It's everything you could ever ask for. Because it's cooked properly, it's not harmful. You take a sip, tastes nice. Take another, tastes a bit better. It smells more meaty than it looks, and it tastes more meaty than it looks as well. And the
Meaty.
evening is yours as the banquet continues.
Because I failed my consume alcohol, and because Grim got a critical success on it, I'm going to allow him to realize that Rogel is staring at the ugliest, burliest dwarf woman in the room.
Rogel, it's impolite to stare. What are you doing? Stop looking at Do I see the lady which he's looking at?
Yep. Yep. She's
How
she's
does-
busty. Give her that. She's about the same
Rogan,
shape as the cauldron.
Maybe you should try to do something and swim in her magical juices, yeah?
Oh man, you think I could?
Yeah.
Should I go talk to her?
Oh yeah.
No,
Immediately.
no. I there's no way. No, she wouldn't. No.
Well, if you want, then I will. And set you up, though I'm not sure how good I am at setting up. Doing a very, very horrible wingman.
Me being slightly drunk but wanting to be supportive, go ahead and encourage Grim to go and get that woman. Or Rogal.
Make a charm test to see how encouraging you can be.
Okay.
You can have a +10 for Grimbold assisting.
Starting into a punishment for.
Yeah. You're hyped right now. They're like
Yes.
slapping you on the back, and all you can see is just this. What could maybe pass for a gnome with like ginormous jumblies. It's. You're not used to such curvaceous women where you're from, and this is quite the thing.
Absolutely.
I'm just going to stand up and go over to the dwarf lady, sit right next to her and tell her, Entschuldigung, Frau Dwarf. I have a secret to tell you.
Okay. She nods and smiles at you.
I try to contain myself giggling, but I tell her, look behind you. And I point her over to Rogal.
Rogal is drunk and really bashful. Like, visibly so. Visibly, excruciatingly bashful.
And
Okay?
I tell her, I hear he gives a really good serving of gnome sausage.
I spat everywhere.
She looks confused at you and walks away.
Rogal now looks visibly upset. Like, serious, like, mega frown. So sad, tears welling up.
I
He
just go
looks to you with these sad puppy dog eyes, Grim.
Sorry,
Go and make
Rogal.
amends.
Sorry,
Say sorry
Rogal.
to that poor woman.
She told me
go
she
get
was.
her.
She told me she was vegan.
What?
It isn't meant to be. Sorry,
So,
man.
while this is all going on, Oleg will be kind of mingling around, slightly tipsy, just gossiping.
Okay, make me a gossip test. And +30, because everyone's talking lots.
Okay, so +20 because he's slightly drunk then?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yep, you accidentally stand on the foot of a dwarf while trying to converse with him, and he waits for you to stop before pointing down to his foot, and as soon as you stop talking, he just walks away.
Oleg sits down next to
Not
Rogal
too
and
successful.
Laments.
You can make a perception test or an awareness test to try and listen in on the gossip rather than actually contribute, or you can try and eavesdrop if you like.
Oh, are you trying to listen to them? I can do that. I got words that let me do that.
Perhaps you should not Gleben in this hall right now.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Rogal waves his arm pathetically at you.
Okay, well,
Who do
they're
you
doing
want?
their
Who do you want to
bullshit.
listen to? Who?
No one right now.
Anyone? What about that guy over there at that table? And Rogel points indiscriminately.
There's dwarfs. They're sat around tables.
Okay, I'm gonna try this. What's my malice for being fumble failure drunk?
What, you just going up to him and talking to him?
No, I'm gonna try and cast eavesdrop.
Okay. You are going to be singing on the spot, so are you going to do it out loud? Singing the language of magic?
Should I be? Should I be singing the language of magic?
Probably not.
It's up to you.
Are you guys? Am I supposed to do this?
What test am I making to try and stop him physically?
Strength.
It's okay. I only have 20 of that.
Yeah.
What do I get? A minus 20 on my roll?
Yeah.
0.
Oof. Oof. Yep.
Hand over mouth.
Yep. Rogel starts to sing a little bit, and mouth
bit.
covered straight up. Not happening. Not happening. A hearty effort.
I missed my boat.
I'm done. I'm being restrained now. Apparently, you're up.
Like seeing
I'm
them
gonna
tackle each other and like, guys, so you think it might be time for all of you to go to bed? Yeah, you don't seem very good. Hmm.
That's a good idea, Bruder.
Okay.
Is there any troll stew left in our bowls?
By now? Sure, there's some sort of little dregs left.
All right. I combine the dregs together and bottle them.
Nice. Okay. Try and sneak them out.
You gotta salt them first.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to waddle on back to the Miner's Bounty, which is not too far away, across the street. And, yeah, you have a bed waiting for you.
Okay. Are we anywhere near where Elisa's bed or room would be?
She's in the same building as you, and they would share with you which room she is currently staying within.
Can I try and check on her just like quietly, not trying to wake her or anything, just check if she's alright?
Okay. Roll a perception test. Just to see if you can listen through the door, to see if you can hear her sleeping or...
Yay.
Okay. The door is currently locked of where she is sleeping, but you're able to listen in, and you can sort of hear her breathing heavily in there. Sounds like she's in a very deep sleep. Well, it sounds like someone's very lightly snoring in there. An elegant snore, though. Only a ladyish snore.
How do you elegantly snore?
I could open that lock for you.
Oh, Dad. No, wait, because Rogel was so eager on me spending cash today, I would like to take some of his, if I can.
You want to pickpocket him?
Yes, while he's drunk.
I mean, sure.
Yeah.
What do I
Sleight
resist
of
it with?
hand would be
Perception.
sleight of hand
Minus 20.
for me.
Minus 20 for both of you, I think, now.
Yep.
It's a success rate of 3 because I rolled a 23. It's a 3.
Yeah, she gets a bonus because of her talent, so
How is
she
it a
has
3?
SL3.
Oh,
She gets
well.
to count unit dice as the SL.
Oh shoot, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty good. So,
All right, I lose.
a successful sleight of hand, and Thorn has... roll me a... Roll 2d19s.
19?
Yep. He's got 19 coins in his pocket. Okay, you got 2 brass pennies.
Oh. Give them to me.
Always keep brass in your pocket.
Give them to me. Where are they? Oh, there
They're
they
in the
are.
middle there. After Shauna has successfully pickpocketed 2 brass pennies from Rogel, the 2 of you listen in on Elise's door, and she appears to be sleeping soundly with a little bit of noise coming from the room, but you're pretty confident the door also appears to be locked. She seems to be nice and safe. So the rest of you all make your way to a slightly smaller and more cramped looking room, sort of like a large broom closet. The cheapest available, still at a silver a head a night, but a few bunk beds are inside, a small ladder leading up to them. No one else sharing it with you at the moment, but you're able to get a fairly decent night's sleep.
Top bunk.
No, you're too drunk.
Make
to
an
climb
athletics
up.
test.
Top bunk.
Is there even athletics in this? See if you can climb up while drunk.
There is athletics.
Yeah. Make an athletics with minus. No, with plus 10, because it's only a ladder. I just want to see if Rogel
Well, I
can
mean-
make it up. Beautiful.
Life-size ladder.
Beautiful. Yeah. Clearly made for people of your stature. You're able to make your way up to the top bunk. There's a couple of top bunks, though, so there is another one on offer.
Shauna is so tall, she doesn't even need to climb the ladder to get up on the top bunk. It's just a chair size for her.
You're a big girl, aren't you?
Yeah, boy.
I'm
Once
a big
you're
boy
up-
too. I got up here too. Woo!
You can hear the sound of humming in the background. There's a bit of a chant going on down below, perhaps some dwarven songs being blurted out. They're fairly melodic and quite tuneful, certainly, and quite bassy and resonant as well. So it's quite a pleasant sound to fall asleep to. The odd table bang here and there, but for the most part, you're able to get a decent night's sleep while the rest of the festivities continue. And you are woken by a knock on the door with a bash, bash, bash.
One moment.
Ow, my head.
Oleg
Ugh.
drags himself up and stumbles to the door, opening it a crack.
Yeah.
Stood there is Elise, fully dressed, and hair tidied, and looking ready to go. I do believe you are currently in my employment.
Yes.
Yes.
We'll be out just momentarily.
You look posh.
Indeed. I have work to do. I will see you downstairs in a moment. Please hurry.
Yes,
I think I
ma'am.
slept in my clothes. I'm good to go. Thumbs up.
We
Okay.
all look the same as we did when we went to sleep.
Yep, that one undressed. Sleep in your rags. Sounds good. Okay. Downstairs, sat by the table, is Elise, who's currently conversing a little bit with the barmaid of the establishment. They seem to be sharing a few words. And with that, as you arrive down the stairs, Elise turns toward you. Right. I need to go to the hall and have a discussion. If you wouldn't mind accompanying me. I do not know if your services will be needed, but this place seems relatively safe. But perhaps you may be of assistance.
Certainly. Here.
And Oleg hands Elise the bit of troll stew that he managed to scrape together.
You missed the troll feast.
She uncorks the top and has a little whiff. Oh, it smells better than it looks. And at that point, the barmaid puts her hand forward. I'll keep it cool for you, laddie. Or lassie, rather. And Elise hands the bottle to the bar. I'll perhaps have it warmed up later. Thank you. She does seem pleased with you, Oled, being kind-hearted. And with that, Elise leads the group down back the path you had taken before, temple by your side, heading towards the Great Hall. It seems a little quieter than last night. There's No sign of the tables in the middle anymore. The previous decorations and tavern-esque appearance is no more. Instead, it's a single dwarf stood on a large, almost like a throne, dead ahead in the chamber. Elise is let in by the two guards, as are you as you walk in. And either side of this impressive-looking dwarf with a beard that goes down way beyond his feet are two others on two smaller chairs slightly lower down. And he welcomes them over, or welcomes you toward. Elise does a respectful bow. It looks a little different to a human bow that you'd see in Reichland, but sort of a little bit more solemn, perhaps. And she approaches. The distance between them still fairly large, so that they're both having to raise voice to converse with each other. There seems to be particularly sort of formal means of communication. But Elise approaches and asks, I presume you are Thulgrim?
Aye. I am. You are Elise.
And the two begin to converse. Elise reporting that she's been sent there to open a mine, and Thulgrim reporting that the mine has been closed due to it being too dangerous and simply out of commission for the foreseeable. And this conversation goes on for some minutes, with her requesting that it be reopened and discussing that she'd been sent here by a patron to try and have this issue ironed out. And the dwarf in question, Thulgrim, ends by stating that it will be reopened once a grudge is settled. And Elise tries to press him for this grudge. Doesn't seem to get any luck out of this or any joy. And after some 10 minutes of attempting to coerce and charm him, he calls the meeting to an end and sends her out the door. The whole time you've been stood there listening, but with the formalities of the occasion, not necessarily offered opportunity to get a word in. Once outside,
before we head out, can I nose for trouble them? Like intuition? Like are they
Sure.
concealing hostility? Maybe.
Sure, you can. Oh. There is. He has something against people. Humans, that is. He doesn't seem to be particularly welcoming, and you can see that there's a degree of animosity, and your spider senses are tingling. Something a bit fishy is up.
Okay.
Not exactly sure what. Elise, having sort of started to walk outside of the building, I was told that he would be difficult. Unfortunately, the kind lady at the bounty has told me that if I do have troubles, there is a law book that they rent out by the hour. I am allowed to study with permission, and well, maybe if I can understand the legal structure a bit more, I may have some joy. Unfortunately, this is 1,000 pages of a language I do not read, so it appears we are going to be here for the foreseeable future.
If I may suggest, if we have time, we do plan on delving for treasures and looking into the water issue, because I cannot drink this dwarven ale forever, and I doubt you will be able to. We're studying law, so perhaps if you find out how we can clean these mines open for you, and what this grudge was, we might be able to further our contract instead of just guarding, but also perhaps performing a task.
Well, let's put it this way.
I probably do not need your full services. For the time you are here, I may require you on the odd occasion, but for now, you have done the task of bringing me here. I will give you a full week's salary, and I may require your services again, but during the days, you may do as you please. I would perhaps...
Also,
Yes?
finish up.
Perhaps once a day or every other day you can report back to me just in case there is something I need help with.
Plus, we might sweeten the deal of reopening the shaft if we fix their water problem.
Yeah, perhaps. That if you can win favor with them via any other means, that is appreciated. I will, yes.
I am going to inform her and the party about what I intuited about Thorgrim.
Let's see if she can roll a...
If you say so, I did not pick up on such vibes, but I trust your opinions on such matters. So, thank you. I will try and keep that in mind. I'm... the lady of the Miner's Bounty did say there were a few dwarfs less than hospitable. Perhaps he is one of them.
Yeah, it seems that way to me.
Well, with that, I will let you do as you please. I will head to the offices and get stuck in the books of learning a new language.
Bye-bye.
Good luck.
Okay, lady, I love you. Bye-bye.
She turns at this point and heads into a building here, where she instructs you. She expects you'll be located there for the majority of the rest of the week, maybe a couple of weeks, as she's not only got to try and find someone that can teach her some Dwarvish, find out some of the laws, and it sounds like this is going to be a slow and grueling exercise of legalities, as she's determined to try and find a way to settle this grudge or convince the Thane that he needs to act otherwise. As you're stood there, if you each roll me a perception test, just to see what...
We're sober now, right?
Yeah, you're sober now. Okay. Rogel, over by the fountain you can hear some preaching going on. There's also some noise coming within the temple, but there certainly sounds like by the silver fountain there's someone talking about a god? I don't know, that just catches your ear for a second.
Okay. Hey guys. They're kind of fishy. Let's go listen to them.
Yeah, I can hear it too. Kind of curious.
All right, you heard that? Yeah, let's go check it out.
Okay. So, you follow your ears for a second, just picking up on a curiosity having left this building. And there's about 5 dwarfs stood in front of a hooded and robed dwarf who is currently preaching to them and telling them the ways of Gorlaz. As you approach,
He is both mystical and magical, let me tell you. He will give you riches beyond your wildest dreams. But let me tell you, he is both powerful and fearsome. And if you worship him enough, he will give you everything you ask for.
these dwarfs don't seem particularly smitten by his tales, and he raises both hands up in the air and says,
I praise the mighty Gorlaz, mightiest of Dowie gods.
Gorlaz, huh?
Yep, a few of the other dwarfs at this point turn and walk away. Don't seem to be particularly interested in his ravings. They look a bit dismissive and, shut up. We've heard enough about this.
As they pass by, if they pass by any of us,
Yep.
can I try and gossip with them to see
Sure.
what he's talking about?
Yeah, you can roll me a gossip test.
Let me just find it. Gossip.
Nice. That's Eggerkin. He's been ranting about this for the past couple of months. He used to go down in the mines. Not the mines, the ruins. Trying to go to the lower levels, and one day he came back and told us he'd found Gorlaz, this magical dwarven deity down there, and well, he's been trying to convince the town to follow suit ever since. He's throwing parties and trying to tempt others into joining in. A little bit indulgent for most of our tastes. It's got a few people interested, but aye, not us.
That sounds creepy, man.
Is
Aye.
is Gorlaz a real god? Or is he
It's
crazy?
not one of ours, let me tell you.
Hmm.
With that, the dwarfs turn to walk away. The individual at this point sees you talking to them and then tries to continue preaching to you.
Listen to me. Have you heard of Gorlaz?
I just heard of him.
Only recently.
I tell you what. You look like you could do with a little more pleasure in your life. A little bit more fortune to fall your way.
Points to a building by his side.
If you'd like to come to a party later, you let me know.
What kind of party?
What does the building look like?
Looks like a home. It's a smaller building, lots of individual ones next to each other. It's sort of just south of you where you are at the moment on the map. Other than that, doesn't strike you as anything particularly out of the ordinary.
So it doesn't look like decrepit, or it doesn't look like it's unkempt, or it doesn't like...
Every building here is more or less identical, and the craftsmanship is so regimented that nothing really strikes you as out of the ordinary. At least from the outside, you can't see inside.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, there's no... you can't see through a window from where you are, at least.
Okay.
So this party, what is a party like here?
Aye, we have fun, you could say. A lot of the fun that wouldn't be, or might be frowned upon by the other Dowie. We're a little more adventurous.
Foot wrestling?
Aye, we wrestle a few things.
Yeah. Oh,
Do you use
Intuition.
scripture? Do you have scripture?
Nay.
No scripture, okay.
guys, this party sounds great.
Yeah, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm sure. Nose for trouble.
Nose for trouble. Okay.
Ha-ha!
Hmm.
I'll roll a D100. Because I guess it's opposed. For a charm or a... You don't get the impression he means you any harm. But you don't trust him.
Okay. Alright. Well, sure. We could go to the party if you want. He doesn't seem like he wants to hurt us. I don't see a problem.
I'm not the preaching kind of girl. So I'm
Yeah, but it
pretty
sounds like it would be
reluctant.
fun.
Yeah.
He tries
I mean,
to
if
coerce
you're
you
all
over
going-
by saying that if you're interested in gold and you want to follow the ways of Gorlaz, then that's the way to get gold.
Yeah, I'm in.
See? Everything you could possibly want. Anything you could possibly want. Gorlaz is the guy.
Is Gorlaz get me a bigger boat? Huh?
Smiles and tells you that Gorlaz will get you whatever you want.
Hmm.
And why is
Well-
Gorlaz so giving? What does he want in return?
Worship. Worship and worship.
Sounds like my kind of guy. Well, it was nice meeting you. When did you say the party was?
be later this evening at basically at some point after nightfall. So right the other end of the day.
Okay. Well, it was nice meeting you. We're definitely considering coming to this party. It seems like everyone's stoked about it. So we'll see you this evening. And turn to leave.
Yes. And he seems visibly joyous at the prospect of having company. All right. The day is yours.
We walk away. We walk to the Crystal Palace.
Mm-hmm. Crystal Palace.
Haven't been there yet. Yeah.
Yep. Crystal Palace.
And once we're by the golden mug, I turn to the other two and I'm saying, we're not going to that party.
Well, why not? He said they were boats.
I got such a nasty vibe from him. He doesn't want to hurt us, but he's definitely not telling us the truth.
As you're walking to the Golden Mug, you do pass the Jewelsmiths Guild, Oleg, which has a few pictures of rings and jewellery on the outside.
I wish to get
Are you looking for
Gran.
something for Gran?
Yeah, I would like to get her a souvenir. Preferably something of Magnus, but perhaps something different. She does love Magnus, though. Bless his name.
Yeah. Oleg's gonna step into the jewelsmiths.
Yay!
Okay.
We go in.
You go to the Jewelsmiths. Stepping inside, you can see a couple of dwarfs behind a counter, underneath what seems to be a glass cabinet. There is a few different gems of different sizes. These are quite expensive looking. There's rings, necklaces, and all sorts. It does appear to be fastened shut with something. And stood behind this counter are two individuals with sort of magnifying monocles. I'm sure there's a more technical name for that are currently examining some jewels.
Ah, hello. Welcome to the Jewelsmiths.
Hello.
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 What can we get you?
And I am looking to buy a souvenir for my grand. So,
Hey, that's sweet of you.
perhaps if you have something more towards the a boost or carvings, perhaps not jewelry.
We've got craftsmen of all sorts within the Jewelsmiths. We can still cater to many needs. What would you like?
Well, I would like to get a boost of Magnus the Pious built, carved as a gift.
Stone or wood?
Stone.
Hey, let's we could commission a piece, and typically we outsource some of the stonework, but we could certainly look into this for you and help you out with this. It would probably take the best part of 3 to 4 days to have it crafted, but hey, we could accommodate that.
And what would the pricing be on these?
Hey, what sort of size are we looking at?
And he suggests a few, sort of like a small ornament 4 inches high or something bigger for a mantelpiece.
I was thinking more mantelpiece, but
Yep.
So I'd say probably the size of a
dwarf.
wine bottle at the biggest.
Yeah. Okay. So like a pineapple-ish sort of.
Yeah.
Little bit. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That'll
Because the pineapples. I don't know. I've got pineapples on the brain.
If it works.
It works. Yep.
Hey, okay about that big. That'll run you gold. We'll see to it that it's special.
And you are aware of what Emperor Magnus looks like?
I sort of pulls his glasses down and looks towards you.
We're aware of many things, laddie, don't you worry. Where have you come from exactly?
We are from the Borgenhafen. It is a city on the Borgen.
Ah! You're the group that came in yesterday.
Yes. Yeah. We helped the caravan get through the greenskins.
You look like you're trustworthy.
Could we... The two of them turn to talk to each other for a second.
Could we ask you a little favour?
Certainly.
And sort of asks you to lean on in over.
I'm only saying this because I trust you. You've got a good face to you. Can you keep something a little bit secret for me?
Sure.
Oleg shoves Rogel in front of him.
Secrets.
Our guildmaster has been disappearing of an evening recently, as have a number of our jewels. And a few of us haven't caught him, but we suspect he might be doing something. Suspect with them. Would you
So
be
you want
able to help
surveillance
us?
the guy?
Aye, if you don't mind. He seems to sneak out of a night. He sleeps in here, but he's currently out. He's currently out delivering an item, but one of us thought we heard him sneak out the other night, and well, a few of the jewels have gone missing.
Okay.
And,
What would your compensation be?
We could probably turn this bust of a simple decorative manner into something a little more expensive. Treat it to a few jewels. Or we could maybe give you a few coin, perhaps.
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 Points down to some of the stuff on array right here, and there are sort of like rubies and gems, and it's pretty stuff.
I find this acceptable. What is his name and what does he look like?
It's a good question. He's a short man, bald on the head. He's, well, say short. I know you're tall, obviously, but he's shorter than the average dwarf. His name is Zarador, and he's got... his beard is forked into three. It's one of the identifiable ways of telling him. Dresses quite extravagantly, typically in blue. That's his favourite colour. And, well, that should be all you need. You see a dwarf with a triple braided beard, and that's probably him, especially if he's coming out of this building.
Yeah, fair enough.
And you just wish us to let you know where he goes?
Hey, if you can just find out what he's doing. No need to stir up any trouble, but yeah, if you can find out what's going on, that would be nice.
We'll let you know what we find out.
I
Thank
probably
you.
butchered the name, to be honest. I have no idea.
I will
What was
copy and
the
paste
name?
for you. Zarador.
Zarador. Door. Okay.
Oh.
Right.
All right. We shall come back at night.
Aye.
Okay. Once again, the day is yours.
Once again. Did you guys want to go to the Leathers and get armor or something? Is that what Sienna was going on
Yeah, I
about?
was supposed to get my sleeves.
Yeah, you can certainly go and pick that up on the way. Yep.
Yeah.
So you walk on through, past the Golden Mug. The barracks on the left is a good bit of noise coming from. Just sounds of people training, perhaps a few swords clattering, but in a organised enough way that you're pretty sure that people aren't fighting each other in there. There's just like a consistent donk, thwack, donk, thwack.
Okay.
Sounds like there's some drills going on inside, as well as what could be a drill sergeant, basically shouting. Crystal Palace is closed on the way through. It's this time of the morning. The doors are shut. The place seems to be unoccupied. And your items are ready for you, Shauna.
Yay.
Yay.
I gladly put them on.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
They fit. They look good.
Yeah.
Did you guys want to go diving into a tunnel today? Come
I
back
think
at
we
night?
should. I think we should wait for Grim to wake up for that.
It's true. We should wait for Grim.
As you are stood there, one lone individual does, just as you're on the edge of the merchant's court, one lone individual comes out of the Crystal Palace, and you just notice walk into the town. But aside from that, others all around you, busy shopping.
How does that person look like?
Make a intuition check.
Intuition.
I probably could have done perception, but okay.
I'll reroll.
Okay.
Let me just do the thing. Yeah.
The reason it was said is because it did catch your eye, as the person looks like they're trying to be subtle but not doing a particularly great job. They're trying to shield their sort of sides of their face, an identity. You notice them go and walk into Grondella's supply shop, and there's just something a bit odd about their behaviour.
Guys, what's wrong with that guy?
What guy? What are you talking about?
The guy over there. He's just... he's acting suspicious.
That's kind of weird. Let's go make fun of him. Yeah.
Maybe be a little more subtle about it.
Oh, fine.
Okay. So he's currently walked into Grondella's supply shop.
Let us move up.
You're going to go in? Okay.
Sneaky.
You're going to walk in the shop behind?
Sure.
I'd rather stay behind and wait for him outside the shop.
Wait outside. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are there windows? I presume there are windows.
Yes, there is one front window.
Well, we'll look through it.
Okay. You can see the individual exchange a few coin with the chap behind the counter, and in return he is given a small leather package, not particularly big, and he puts it sort of under his coat and pulls the hood up to his side, and then goes back to the back outside of the shop. As walking outside, tries to make careful care not to make eye contact with you, and sort of looks to one side.
How tall is this person?
It's a human, that's for sure, of average build.
Okay.
Let's follow him.
Do you want to shadow him then?
Yep.
Okay.
The good thing is you don't have to go anywhere, because you can see from him walking ahead, he goes straight back to the Crystal Palace and back inside. The whole way still trying to shield his face and try and keep whatever this is under his arm covered.
Let's follow him. Inside the Crystal Palace.
Door is closed behind him as he enters.
Well, before he goes, I wanted to know for trouble, is he dangerous?
Sure.
Well, is he
yeah.
hostile?
You could see if he seems like a hostile. Not dangerous, but
Shady as fuck.
sneaky. Yeah, sneaky, shady, not malicious.
Okay. Well, I don't know. That's pretty interesting. Of course, he could have just been buying something normally, and he's just a weird guy.
No, because what would a human be doing here, considering we're the only humans we've ever seen?
Well, it's because we didn't go to the Crystal Palace. The Crystal Palace is where all the humans hang out, apparently.
Apparently, he's still acting kinda
You're the odd
iffy.
man. You're the odd human out who comes out here and hangs out with all the dwarves.
I mean, I still feel kinda strange about him. He gave me a weird feeling.
Okay. So what do you want to do? Do you want to follow him some more, or I
Yeah.
mean, we can't see him anymore. We basically have to go inside the Crystal Palace.
Well, I mean, why not?
Okay. To the Crystal Palace we go. I thought it was closed though.
It is. And the front door is locked.
Mm,
Oh, it's locked.
Yep.
interesting.
Knock, knock, knock. Weird guy we saw. What you doing? No, I'm just kidding.
Do you knock?
No, I'm just
Okay.
kidding. I'm not going to do that.
Okay. Make me a... Actually, you don't need to make anything. Beside you is a man who's not wearing much. He's wearing a trousers and a shirt. Doesn't even have shoes to him, and seems to be stumbling around in a bit of a drunken hangover. The reason it caught your attention is moving up to this building, seems to have been slept down beside it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
Hello. Morning.
You been sitting out here for a while?
Whew. Oh, my head. Maybe. I don't remember.
What's the last thing you do remember?
I was, he smiles to himself and giggles for a few moments. I met a lady. Ooh, she was nice. He seems to be trying to rack his head to remember. Doesn't have much recollection of last evening. He remembers going to the Crystal Palace for a drink, and he was with a friend, but he's not sure what happened to his friend and has woken up in the street.
Well, that certainly is strange. Have you ever woken up in the street before after going to the Crystal Palace?
He's fairly new in town. He's been here a few weeks, and he has been drinking there for a while.
And this is the first time it happened.
This is the first time it's happened. He sort of puts his hands and pats them on his side now and realizes that not only is all of his money not on him, but also he doesn't even have shoes anymore. His leather jacket was also taken. It appears to have been robbed.
Oh man, poor guy.
Yeah.
They seems to just be having a really bad day now. Like he's looking like oh, this is bad. He scratches his head for a moment, and
Maybe someone took my things when I was sleeping.
Yeah, that sounds really terrible, dude.
Yeah.
Do you know
You don't
where?
remember anything?
smiles to himself again.
Something. But, no.
And at this point, he gives you a description of his nice leather jack, which is sort of like a brown and black colour that he had custom made, and it's something he's particularly proud of. But yeah, if you were to see it in your travels or see anyone else wearing it, to let him know.
Of course. Are you staying at the Crystal Palace?
No. They don't do sleepovers. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently, considering you slept on the street.
Yep. With that, he stumbles down the road, sort of staggering left, staggering right. Bit of a... He's still on -30. He's still drunk.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
Too bad it wasn't us that stole all his stuff. Oh well. Missed
Oh, well.
opportunities, right?
That ought to be wrong, Rogel.
Oh, shush. But that means that someone else stole all those things.
Yeah. Maybe somebody who was running around with a hood on, trying to hide.
Considering what we are members of, perhaps it is another branch?
Oh, the Thieves Guild?
Maybe.
The Not Guild.
Mm.
Yeah, hush. Shush your mouth. No such thing.
Yeah, of course.
So we're just standing outside the Crystal Palace now. We just saw a drunken man with no shoes stumble in a direction, and some weird guy who put a leather pack under his jacket and ran into the Crystal Palace. Okay.
Yep.
I don't know what's going on anymore. Rogel is concerned, but what time of day does it look like to be?
It's like early morning still. It's
Oh shoot. Okay.
yeah. Well, like 10. Like you get the impression that maybe you were woken up at like 6 or 7 o'clock. You were you were woken up quite early with not a lot of sleep. So yeah, it's still early. You were in the Great Hall for maybe about an hour, but yeah, you've still got plenty of time.
Sweet. Go nap till noon. Just kidding.
Well, now's probably a decent time to wrap it up as we've approached 4 o'clock.
Oh yes. Yeah. 5 minutes still.
Yeah. Unless there's anything else you want to do in the next 5-10 minutes before.
No. Did
Not
Elise
really.
pay us already, or are we waiting on that?
We're still waiting on that.
Yeah.
She said she'd pay us in a week or something like that, right?
She
a week.
said
more.
she'd give you the week's salary now, given that you've done what you've done with the trolls.
Oh, okay.
She'll give you it up front, but she might still expect you to work for her this week if things come up. But as long as you're around, if need be, then like you can do as you please.
Okey-doke.